Hi everyone, I'm Bhavitra from Informatica GCS. In this video, we will see user group policy and the assert group that was introduced as part of PBAC, Policy-Based Access Control, in November 2024 CDGC release. This is the agenda of this video. We will see the permissions required to create policy in the assert group, user group policy and the assert group explained, and followed by a short demo. Before moving to the user group policy, I recommend you to watch the user role policy first. You can find this in the Informatica support YouTube channel. Permissions required. In order to create policies in MCC, so you should have manage access control policy. In order to view the existing policies in MCC, you have to have the view access control. And in order to create the assert group, you should have manage assert group. And in order to view the assert group in MCC, you must have the view assert group privilege. The above privileges are to be assigned from the IDMC administrator. User group and user group policy. A user group is a group of users who can perform tasks and access asserts based on the roles that you assign to the group. Administrators can create user groups for the organization in Administrator. User group policy. It defines the access level of users who are assigned a user group in Administrator. You can also use this access policy to control the access level to all the users in the organization. This can be created from Metadata Command Center and is specific to MCC. Creating user group policy. In order to create the user group policy, go to MCC, Access Control tab, go to Access Policies tab, and then you can create a new one. This screenshot shows how to create a user group policy. So once you start creating this user group policy, in the second tab, you can see your Rules tab, where you can specify assert group. So assert group is nothing but it is a mechanism in metadata access control that administrators can use to control access to a set of asserts. By grouping asserts, you can grant or restrict access to multiple asserts at a time. You can use assert groups in access policies to control access to a group of asserts among the users based on parameters such as their location, business area, or function within the organization. For the access policies associated with the assert groups to take effect, assign the assert groups to specific asserts in the DGC or associate assert groups to the asserts when you run a catalog source in MCC. When you create an assert group, you can create a hierarchy by selecting a parent assert group. This image displays the assert group tab with a list of assert groups in the hierarchy in MCC. Assert groups will be created and managed in MCC. Assert groups are hierarchical. User can create a maximum of 4 levels. Each assert group can have only one parent. Once an assert group has been published, the parent field cannot be edited. If an assert group assigned to a technical and business assert that acts as a parent, it will be then propagated to all the children unless a specifically assigned assert group is available. Now we'll move on to a quick demo. And now with the administrator service, I have two roles created, which is nothing but the clone of the governance administrator role. I have then created two user role policies in MCC for each of these roles. Let me switch to the MCC service. Go to access control, and here is where you can view the user role and the group policies that you've already created. So these are the two roles that I've created for each of these roles. This role contains the access to all the business assets, and whereas the other role contains access to all the technical assets. Then I have already created a user group. Let me show you that. And this user group contains those two roles which I have created, and it is assigned to a specific user. Now we have to create a user group policy in MCC to reflect these permissions to the user assigned in the user group. To create user group policy in MCC, go to the Access Control tab, click on Access Policies, and click on this plus icon, select User Group Policy. Fill in the required details. Choose the group that you have already created. Go to Next. And in the Rules tab, you will see a plus icon. Click on it to add the conditions. And here is where the assert group comes into picture in the Rules tab of Policies. You can either, if you have already a subgroup created, you can click on add new and you can choose the one. If you don't want to choose the assert group, select this condition and you can select is null and click on this add permissions to add the permissions required for this user group. In order to create an assert group, go to the customize tab and assert group tab here and click on this plus icon. Create any assert group. Let's say I'm creating a test group. If you do not choose any assert group in this parent section, then whatever the assert group that you're trying to create will act as the parent. If you choose any of the assert group in this hierarchy, then this test group will become the child of the assert group that you're selecting over here. At a maximum, you can create a four nested hierarchies for this assert groups. I already have an assert group created, and this is the hierarchy where ban org is my parent, and inside that I have two child, which is Emirates and India. And inside Emirates, I have Emirates North and Emirates South, and inside India, I have India North and India South. So for India North and India South, India acts as the parent, and for Indian Emirates, ban org acts as the parent. Now let's go back to the user group policy that I've already created. And this is the user group policy India team that I have created, where I have defined that this user group should have access to the asserts where the assert group India is stacked. So you can also edit the existing assert group, but except for the parent. So here is the name that you have to provide for the user group policy. And I've selected a group that I've created an administrator. And if you go to the rules, you can see that I can click on edit. So if my assert group is any of India, then I have these all permissions provided. And you can click on save. And once you click on save, if we edit any changes, then you click on save. So you have to publish this user group policy in order to have this user group policy effective for the respective user. Selecting publish will trigger a job through which you can notice the status of it. So once this job is completed, then you must be seeing this user group policy as published. In order to have this assert group apply to your asserts, go to the data governance and catalog and open any of the assert. So in this example, I have already created a domain called Informatica, and the hierarchy of this domain looks like this, wherein I have two subdomains as the child of it, which is UAE and India. And in each of the subdomain, I have four business terms associated with it. So in the overview tab, you will see a box named assert group where you can select this pencil icon and you can select the assert group that you wanted to assign. So I'll try assigning this band or, and if I do this and if I select OK, then this band or this assert group will be propagated to all the child asserts of this domain, which means that it will be propagated to all of these asserts, that is India and to the UAE, everything. And if I refresh, you can see this assert group being assigned. And if I go to any of the subdomain, I should be seeing the same assert group. Yes. So let's suppose if I wanted to change this assert group where I have to associate any child of this band org here. To do that, click on this pencil icon and check this box. Let's suppose if I wanted to associate India, click on this checkbox and click on OK. By doing this subdomain and the child asserts of this subdomain, this India assert group will be propagated. And if you wanted to change the assert group for the child of this subdomain, so similarly, you have to go to the assert that you wanted to change. And now you can see the India assert group is propagated. Let's suppose if you wanted to assign the child of it, similarly uncheck this India and select the child of it and click on OK. So this is how an assert group can be applied to the asserts in the data governance and catalog. Now the assert groups have been assigned to the required asserts. And if suppose if I'm logging into this user, which is part of the user group, I should be seeing whatever the permissions that I've assigned to this user group. Let me refresh. So all these permissions on this India assert group should be effective. To differentiate, let me also try assigning the Emirates assert group for this subdomain. Select it. So this user should not have access to this Emirates assert group as this Emirates assert group is not included in this user group policy. I've already logged in this TGC with the same user where the user group is assigned. Let me refresh it once again. Let me go to the domain, Informatica. And if I go to hierarchy, I should be seeing only the India subdomain. This is how using an assert group in access policies, you can control access to a group of asserts among the users. And that's it with the demo. If you have any feedbacks regarding this video, please reach out to us in any of these channels. Thank you.